Welcome back to Griff and the Cast, a show that discusses about anything and everything. So I'm not going to do anything real different here, like I'm not going to do 3 words of the week. I honestly just want to get right into the conversation. So to start things off, it is 12:38 Central Time, and this Daytona 500 just happened, and I don't know, a lot has been on my mind recently. So I don't know, I guess the first thing that's on my mind that I have noticed as you guys enjoy the mouse clickings, I've noticed a lot of YouTubers have been making their own Daytona reaction videos. David Land's got his time to stop video, Play Racing Has to Change, Daytona 500 review. Double E Dud has his little reaction and analysis. I saw Kamikaze Games has his, Diet 200 has his 20-minute reaction video, What If Racing has his, and as you guys can tell, I don't have one. And it sucks. I'm in a very not too good predicament, if you will. So, I don't know. I'm going to kind of vent here on this episode, so if you guys love venting, go ahead and stick around. Otherwise, you guys are more than welcome to click off of this. So, as you guys know, it has now been 6 months. As of Valentine's Day, I have been doing what I kind of call the grind for the past, I would say, about 6 months or so. And what the grind, and I've mentioned before in the second episode of the podcast, is, how do I explain this? So I've been working, like, a lot, like 50 hours a week. That's not YouTube. So if you want to add YouTube, it's between 60 to 70 hours a week. And this past January and February has just been awful for me. I'm not putting it lightly. It sucked. And my issue with January and February is it is cold. I live in South Dakota, and in the mornings it gets into the single digit or negative weather. It's awful. It sucks. And like I lose so much energy, and it's like, because the work I do, my main job, the main 40-hour-a-week job, my hours are from, as I mentioned before, my actual hours, so this is not count waking up and all that stuff, but my actual hours are from 7:30 a.m. until 4 p.m. And that's from Monday through Friday. And then on the weekends, I work at a news station on Saturday and Sunday nights. So while everyone else is making their little reaction videos, I'm stuck at work. So I don't have the power or opportunity to make a video. But that also got me thinking too, like, is there even a reason for me to even make a video? Because, like, if I make a video, like, very fast, it would almost look the same as, like, Eric's or Kamikaze Games or something like that. So that does bring up a question for myself. It's not necessarily for you guys, but it's just something I have to think about myself. Do I want to make a video that is fast? Here, I'm going to turn down the mic a little bit. Okay. Does it matter if, like, okay, let me rephrase that. Should I make a video that it's quick to make, but has no depth to it? Like someone that's very top level talking about it, and I might as well talk about the Daytona 500 here in a little bit, but do I want to do something where it is very light like that? Or something that takes a little bit more time, a little more effort, something I want to put a little more love into that does have more depth, but it comes out later, thus making it more irrelevant. And so that's an issue that I face. And it sucks. And then so that's one issue. And then the other issue is just, again, time and just energy. Because I'm honestly at a point where I really don't have any desire to make videos. I really don't. And it's funny because it's like you guys hardly see any videos on my channel anyway. And it's like, I don't know, it's so dumb because it's like at work, I get these crazy ideas to create something extraordinary, something different, something mind-changing. But it's like once I get into work, it's like, oh man, this takes plenty of time to do. And that's something I unfortunately do not have. So if you guys are not aware of kind of what my plan is right now, my plan is to work until May And then hopefully around May is when I will shift to full-time work here on YouTube. But here's my issue. I want to stay and I want to still do stuff with YouTube, but with everything else going on, I just don't know how that's even possible. I don't know if I could even make that work, you know? And that's something I gotta figure out for myself. And it's just so crazy because like David Land's video, and as I'm looking at this, it's 1 hour ago and it already has 2,200 views. But I have not even 3,000 subscribers, and David Land, how many subscribers is he at here? I'm just checking right now. 21,000. So he has a bigger base, so he has that much more to feed. But I know I should not look at that, because one of the quotes that I've learned in life is don't compare someone's chapter 1 to, or let me rephrase that. Don't compare my chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. And so like him and also like Eric, ever since he started his Out of the Groove series, has taken up a lot of steam, and 3 hours ago, and he already has 2,800 views. I don't want to get analytical, but I also am huge on numbers. So on that note, I honestly, I don't know. I am very serious about putting a hiatus to my channel. Like I am very serious about just not actually forcing myself to do work, because I want to make something that I enjoy. And if I enjoy it, then I believe you guys will enjoy it too. I just don't want to make a 10-minute piece of crap just so that you guys can feed off of that. Even though I know that's the norm nowadays on YouTube. I'm not like that. I definitely want something that is more time committed, which unfortunately is something I don't have. Which does take me to One More Spark, because in all of my episodes of the podcast, the first comment I see is, when is One More Spark coming out? I don't know. But here, first of all, thank you guys for keeping me liable with the One More Spark series, because I know you guys are excited for that, and I do appreciate that I still have a following after all these months. I just don't have time. And here's another thing that sucks. On Sundays, which is when I'm recording this now, I go on a nice long walk and I have a plan of attack. I kind of create this little mental plan of like how the week will progress. And it's like, on this day, I'll accomplish this thing. On this week, this day, or whatever, I will accomplish this thing. But then I get to Wednesday or Thursday, and I am mentally drained. And it's something that I just don't understand. And did I just hear a car alarm go off? I don't know. Anyway, I think there's a television on, but ignore that. Anyway, the problem is, there's just so much that I have going on right now. And it sucks because you guys don't see any of that. You guys don't see anything that's been going on with me. I wish there's a way, I don't know, to show you guys like what's been going on, but at the same time, it's like I want to make sure the quality is good or above par, if you will. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of just in a funk right now. I'm in a crossroads because it's like I could force myself to make more videos, but it's something that I would not enjoy, and in turn, I don't think you guys would enjoy either. And honestly, just the predicament I'm in right now, because it's like, again, I could force myself to make videos, but again, it's like, I don't know how much you guys would enjoy that. And besides, that's not really my, what do you want to call it, base anyway, because I know you guys are there for my Inner 2003 content, like the One More Spark videos and the other theory videos. Like, that's what you guys are there for. And that's something I do want to stick with. But again, time. That's something I lack big time. And especially on the weekend, because it's like I keep having that thought where it's like I could get to the weekend and it's like, okay, I can get a lot of work done there. But again, the weekend is a time for recovery. And you guys know, I don't know how many of you guys are Christians, but Sunday is supposed to be the rest day, like the holy rest day. And unfortunately, I end up working a ton on that Sunday, and that kind of screws me over for the week ahead. And so on that note, I actually want to talk about my predictions video that I made, and I was up last Thursday. There is a little story behind that. So I actually started recording that last Monday, and then I was doing some editing on it Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night. Each of those nights, I did not end up going to bed until 1 a.m. because I wanted to get the video out before Speed Weeks came out with like the truck race. And so because of that, I was absolutely sleep deprived. And my Thursday and Friday absolutely screwed me over. I almost I don't know, I was just in a complete mental funk. All because of a silly little video. I wouldn't say it's silly, because I mean, I definitely put a lot of thought and effort into it. But I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's like, I do want to keep going with the effort, but it's just like, what do I enjoy, and what do you guys want to see? So, I'll talk about the Daytona 500 quickly, but one quick thing I want to mention too. On the Austin Dillon winning video, on the NASCAR video, I commented and said, here, let me bring it up here. So, I said, Austin Dillon dabbed on dem haters. And one YouTuber is like, Griff dog cringe. Oh yeah, so apparently I am the cringe meister. Boy, you guys think I should dab on that hater? I don't know. I don't know if he thinks it's a joke or not. I hope it's a joke. I hope he sees it as a joke. I just think the whole dabbing and Jake Paul thing is a complete joke. It's all a meme. It's all sarcasm. I am not a Jake Pauler or a Low Ganger. I just believe they're both not good for YouTube. So, I don't know. I do find it hilarious, though, that Austin Dillon did dab on those haters. So, okay, so let's go on to that. Let's talk about the Daytona 500. Let's talk about kind of my thoughts on it. So here, let me actually go ahead and I'm gonna pop up that video. I'm not gonna play the sound on it just because I don't know if there's any copyright infringement involved, but I really just don't want to, I guess if you will, worry about it. So here, let's see if I can figure this out. Yeah, so because I know, again, yeah, Austin Dillon won, and there was a last lap crash, which is huge. But again, oh, actually, here, let me do this, because I know Fox Sports had a longer version, they did the entire overtime finish, which, by the way, won overtime instead of 5, which was in the Xfinity Series. So here, let's do this. Okay. So you have Denny Hamlin and Aric Almirola side by side coming down into turn number 1, because this is after a big wreck that involved Ryan Blaney, Kurt Busch, Alex Bowman, Ricky Stenhouse, among others. So anyway, they're in turn number 1, and pause here for a second. I just want to take a look at the top 10. So it's Almirola, Hamlin, Chris Buescher, Austin Dillon, Paul Menard in 21, Bubba, Joey Logano, white card, that's Allmendinger, Trevor Bayne, and Ryan Newman, I believe that's in 10th. So they're in turn number 2 right now. So you have them side by side all the way through. I noticed that the high side got a really strong run on the high side. Oh wow, Paul Menard, wow, on the back straightaway, Paul Menard almost dumped Chris Buescher right there and then, and that would have given us another overtime. So that would not have been good. But because of that, Almirola does pull away, and so Denny Hamlin and Austin Dillon are side by side for second. And this is an interesting situation because this was almost like what Dale Jr. had to face in the 2014, because I thought Almirola was going to kind of bounce off of each other, and I thought he was going to win. And so as they come to the white flag, sponsored by Credit One Brake, blah, blah, blah. Side note, I am not actually sponsored by Credit One, but I just know they say that a lot. But anyway, so Aric Almirola, he's the leader, and let me just pause for a second. So they're in the middle of turn number 1. Almirola is the leader, then it's Austin Dillon, Hamlin, Bubba Wallace, and Chris Buescher is up in 5th. Allmendinger was up to the high side for a second. McDowell was up in the top 10. Good for him. So this is interesting, because on the high side, I believe it was Bubba who was giving a shot to Austin Dillon, and then coming down the back straightaway here, and this was interesting. So as we pause here, this is 1:19 of the Fox Sports video. So I find it weird how they're going down the back straightaway and then they immediately go to the back bumper shot of Aric Almirola. I don't know, I found that very interesting why they decided to go of all places to that shot. Because then it immediately goes to Eric Arnold getting turned, and it immediately cuts to an interesting shot with Paul Menard, Ryan, is that Ryan Blaney? Oh wow, he moves up in the top 10, good for him. And then, so Almirola wrecks, and then what I found very interesting about that wreck was how it was only a one-car wreck. Everyone else was able to avoid it down on the inside. I'm also very surprised that Almirola did not flip. And I said, then I predicted that Almirola, or not Almirola, that there was going to be a flip in the Daytona 500. That did not come through. I don't know. I was going to say the cars have gotten really good at not turning over. So anyway, I'm just playing it now as Austin Dillon comes off turn number 4. Hamlin and Bubba are side by side. Buescher and Logano are side by side. And then Menard and Blaney are side by side. And Austin Dillon ended up winning the Daytona 500 exactly 20 years after Dale Earnhardt won the Daytona 500 for the only time. So the big question, the big controversy is that hard racing? Is Austin Dillon just a big douche and ended up wrecking him on purpose? Here, I do have one replay up. So down the back straightaway, because I know that Austin Dillon was trying to get him, and yeah, Almirola was definitely blocking him, and it was almost kind of like the Xfinity Series big one, where the car in the back bumped him, the front car, in the wrong spot, and because of that, and it wasn't necessarily that was the issue, the real issue was the front car started turning, not quite, or he was turning while the car behind was bumping the front car, if that makes any sense. And so because of that, Almirola got turned, and so the big question is, should Austin Dillon be hated on? And I personally say no. I say that was completely fair racing. Almirola did everything he could to win. Austin Dillon, he did try running. Like, he tried moving down to the inside, and then he tried moving to the high side, but Almirola was blocking. And I mean, if I was Almirola, I would totally do that too. Now, everyone could say, like, oh, Austin Dillon could lay off, but we gotta also add too, Austin Dillon is going for the win for the Daytona 500. So, no, I'd say it's a completely fair, what do you want to call it? Like, it's hard racing, and I'm really glad that Austin Dillon got his second career win, mind you. Like, Austin Dillon has not won a lot. The only time he's won is the Coke 600. So, with that being said, I know there's a lot of hate, there's a lot of dislikes. This video specifically, 456 likes while 91 dislikes. And I get it, Eric Almirola is a big guy. And it would be great to see him win as well. But you know what? If the strong car that Almirola has, I could definitely see Almirola getting a win. Like, at least he has a better chance winning on the Stewart-Haas car than he did with RPM. That's not to say that Bubba also has a strong shot to win, especially with that RCR alliance, which, mind you, an RCR car won the Daytona 500. But you know what? I'm going to get off that high horse because this is the Daytona 500, where it is a lottery. Where we go to Atlanta next week, where that is definitely more of a car and driver's race, and we'll see more of the normal prospects back out front. So that's just my take on that. So I don't know. So right now it is 12:56 a.m. It's very weird timing for me to do this podcast. I was thinking about doing it on like a Saturday night, but I don't know. Just the timing wasn't good. But now I just think the timing is great. And I don't know, I wanted to just go back to the topic about just like making videos, because I know that, I mean, you guys remember last year how I made 7 videos for 7 days and 3 of them being the 10 winners challenge? That was amazing. But the difference between then and now is I only had one part-time job where it was only 25 hours a week, where I was able to put a lot more focus onto YouTube. Whereas now, I hardly have time to breathe, mind you. So, I know, I'm complaining, and I do apologize for that. But at the same time, it's just like, what do I do? Because again, it's like, I want to make good content. And, I mean, especially looking at Eric's video, like, he had, like, pictures in there. And, like, the way how he, like, edits it, it's, like, so fast. like, good for him. Like, I'm very proud that he is able to really ramp up his footage. So, I don't know. And especially too, and I really don't want to get caught up in the moment, but it's just like, I don't know. Like, especially like lately, I was just looking on Twitter and I saw like Kamikaze Games and David Land are like talking to each other, and they're kind of like talking about after the race. And that's good. Like, I'm glad they're having the conversation, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know if I should comment at all on any of that. So, I don't know. So, what I've been thinking about too is, even though I won't be making as much videos on YouTube, I've definitely picked up my presence on social media. I am, even though like I'm relatively young, 24 years old, I honestly feel very old in terms of it, because I mean, if you go to my Instagram account, I had Sirius Black, what he said, I've been waiting for, what did he say? I've done my waiting 12 years of it in Azkaban or whatever. So I had issues trying to upload a GIF onto the Instagram. And so I had to upload a app called Gifify or something like that. And it just got really confusing. But I want to definitely do more less creative stuff. And that actually does turn me over to kind of like what. So if I'm not making videos like with that downtime, what am I doing? Biggest thing that I'm doing is experimenting. And so I don't plan to show off my experiments to you guys. But what I want to do is I want to create more just stuff, kind of like, I always want to like school myself. I want to like teach myself different like editing techniques, different audio styles, cinematography, just different things, so that I can not just create good videos, but also make them quick as well, so that they're not totally like irrelevant. So with that being said, one thing I did mention too, and I believe it was a previous podcast, I mentioned that I was going to make another show, kind of talking about like this race recap and stuff like that. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. And again, just because time is not on my side. So, and another thing I bet you guys are wondering too, it's like, well, if you keep saying you don't have time, why are you saying this now? My biggest thing is I want to get this message out to you guys, because I want to make sure that you guys have an understanding of what's going on in my life. So that's what's been going on, and it sucks. And that's another issue I have too, is making those like false promises, because I keep saying, like, especially with 1987 One More Spark, because at first it was going to be like, oh, it's going to come out in December, but then it pushed forward with oh, it's going to be January, and it's just it's been awful. So just to give you guys an idea of where I'm at with my latest project, which is One More Spark 1987, all the races are done. All the races are recorded, and I've started working on, okay, I'll keep going off what I was going to say. I started working on the graphics for all of like the finishes, all the notes and everything like that. But my problem with it is that it's such a time commitment, and honestly, it's that project that's really burned me out. So that, again, it's just the big episode of burning out. So I don't know how many of you guys do listen to these podcasts. To those who do, I greatly appreciate it. And this has definitely just been a lot more real. Because again, it's like, I keep saying like, oh, everything is great, everything is happy, but I kind of just show that on the outside because I mean, there's so much crap going on out there. Like, there's just so much evil. And like, for example, the the Parkland shooting. So it's definitely awful. My thoughts and prayers go out to everyone out there in Florida. But it's like, I hate saying that. I hate saying like, oh, my thoughts and prayers, because it's like, it does nothing. It's just, condolences, which of course I give out to them, but I want to do something. Like, I hate talking. I want to do. I want to act. I want to, like, get out there and, like, find a way to prevent these shootings from happening. And it's so horrible because actually here I have a little bit of a side story. So, do you guys remember? Oh, this is more, I guess, for the older audience. Do you guys remember Columbine at all? That shooting that took place in Colorado in 1998? So, I was literally miles away from that shooting. What I'm doing right now is I'm just going to bring up a maps, and I just want to get a more, I guess, accurate, let's see here. Okay, so what I'm doing, yeah, so let's do this to yeah, 9 miles away. So I was 9 miles away from Columbine when that happened. So, and this was back when I was in kindergarten. So I bring this up because this is like the first, I guess, shooting that I've heard of. But like nowadays, like it's almost like a common thing where it's like once a week. And that should not be the case. Like you guys should not be afraid to go back or go to school. In my personal opinion, and I'm coming as a former student, like I was like one of you guys at once. I believe education is so important. I believe schooling is so important. I believe college is so important, which is why I am a firm believer in schooling and school and like just being educated and just everything. Because especially with the high price it is to go to college, because mind you, I am huge in student debt, like $40,000+ in debt. I'm not afraid to say that. I have a lot of student debt. And it sucks because it really entraps me into what I want to do. And because of that, like I know friends who are cutting costs, but at the same time, they're not getting the full college experience. Now, mind you, this is kind of the way I see it. I think people should go to college, at least for 4 years. Because there's definitely a lot that college has to offer. But nowadays, the price, like the literal price for it, is so huge. And because of that, not many people are going to go to school anymore. But at the same time, I believe school is so important. And not just that, because I know kind of like the backstory behind how the shooting took place. It's such a tough situation. Like, here's kind of what I would suggest. If there's someone who has not been acting right, just at least acknowledge their presence. Don't like be negative about it, but like just acknowledge like, hey, how's it going? Hope your day's going well, kind of words. Just some words of encouragement for them, because that could make their day. That could potentially make them feel better. Just, I don't know, just making them not feel so alone is so important. Which is something that I have gone through a lot at school, and it sucks because it's like I would roam the like halls of the high school and everyone is so high and mighty about themselves, and I don't know. Because I don't know, I was a cringy kid in high school. I mean, I'm a cringy kid now, but I mean, like in high school, it was hard for me to make friends. I'll just put it that way. I mean, I did have some good friends, but at the same time, I was not a perfect student. I mean, I got through okay. I mean, I made it through high school with relatively good grades, and I made it through college. But at the same time, it's like there are definitely some sketchy people out there. And even though it might be, I don't know, it's such a hard line to distinguish, but I mean, honestly, just noticing other people and just making them feel welcome could make a heck of a big difference, which is why education is so important. So the last thing I want to mention before I do wrap up this improv podcast is just the whole idea of guns. Like, is like guns bad, good? What are my, I guess, thoughts on it? So it's gonna be weird coming from me saying this, but I'm not a big believer in guns. That sounds weird, but like I've never possessed a gun in my life. I don't believe in it. I don't know. I'm just not big into the whole like owning a gun situation. And in my personal opinion, I definitely am not. I don't like the idea that guns were even invented in the first place, because like literally, like all you do is you just pull a trigger and you ended up a life could be lost just like that. It's so easy now. Whereas back in the day, it's like you have a medieval flail or a sword or a claymore or something like that, and you gotta like actually like use your muscles to slay your foe. But nowadays, it's just pew and the soul is gone from a person. It's so quick. It's so easy now to lose a life. And that's just ridiculous, in my opinion. So, that was a completely different tangent, but I don't know. It's really weird, especially now that it's 1:09 a.m. I really wanted to just talk, get my thoughts out there, because I don't know, especially living out here where there's not really many people to talk to. I do appreciate those who do listen to this, and just because I'm talking about the shooting, this video is not going to get monetized. I just want to get my thoughts out there. I want to just kind of spread the word, and I believe education is so important. And this is just my opinion too, because like if you guys own a gun, if you have a gun or whatever, go keep at it. But I just don't believe in that. I don't acknowledge that. And then I guess one last thing I want to mention too before I do wrap up, even though I said that before, is you know how sometimes I kind of like stutter when I talk. I think a lot. I'm really aware of what I'm saying, and sometimes I'll catch myself in the middle of saying it, and that's why sometimes you'll hear me pause and trying to put the right words together, because the last thing I want to do is slip up, say something wrong, and causing a ton of controversy. So if you have a gun, go ahead, keep your gun, but I don't know, because the shooter, who is to remain anonymous, because he doesn't deserve to be named, this shooter was legally able to possess a gun. He was able to go through the whole process, and what does he do? He ends up killing a bunch of high schoolers who could have potentially become something great. They would have been something so extraordinary, but their lives were cut short. So, yeah. So, I don't know. It's just something that does bother me. And I wish I could do something. I wish I could go out there and, I don't know, take all the guns away, or, I don't know, put so much money back into education or schooling. But it's one of those things where it's just like, I feel so helpless. So, I don't know. I don't know how many people are going to listen to this. I don't know how far this is going to go. I don't know. I'm just getting my thoughts out there, and hopefully someone can take what I've been saying through this podcast and run with it, or share this, or I don't know, somewhere out there so that others can enjoy it. So, sorry that this podcast it's different. I'm sorry that it is, but again, it's... just want to get this off my chest. There's a lot going on, lots going on, and not enough time to take care of it all. So, I guess one thing I can end on is a joke. So, it's kind of funny, and I mentioned this on Twitter. Not many people liked it, so it's okay for me to mention it again. So, if a fortune cookie does not have a fortune in it, what is that? And then I mention it is unfortunate. Ha 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 ha. Okay, enough of the cringy jokes. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stop this podcast right here. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you guys do have any suggestions or any words to the wise or anything like that, please hit me up on any of my social media message boards, whether that is Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. Which, by the way, I don't know if you guys have noticed too, but on Twitter's mobile app, sometimes it closes out and it forces me to the home screen. Very annoying. I yelled at my phone once and a bunch of people looked at my direction, and that was really awkward, but besides the point. But if you guys do have any words of encouragement or anything like that, please go ahead and send it out. Yeah, I don't know. It's just I'm not the best with being social, but I'm working on it. So, all right. So my little my little venting is done. Thank you guys so much. If you guys have made it to this point, thank you guys so much for listening. I do appreciate it. This is definitely not the type of person you would hear from before, but at the same time, I do want to get this out. So, thank you guys so much, and I'll speak to you guys sometime down the road.